Welcome to the Science Gallery. It's a great pleasure tonight to be launching Metropolis Crowd Control.
What's going to happen in the Science Gallery this week is we're asking members of the public to come in and help us build Metropolis. So they'll help us doing that by sort of sitting our experiments and telling us what they find realistic about crowds and virtual humans. And they'll also look at our 3D demo, which is just now working.
What we're trying to do is discover how does the brain perceive things that surround us in the real world. Interestingly enough, very little is known about how we perceive crowds. We can detect instantly information from a crowd. We know where a crowd is going to instantly. We know what kind of mood a crowd is in, but we don't understand yet how the brain achieves that sort of information.
Sound is very important in guiding the eyes for localizing targets, seeing where your friend is at a particular location, but always to the right or to the left. What I'm focusing on here is looking at depth perception. In virtual reality, we have this compression of space. Everything seems a lot closer when we're looking at virtual reality compared to if we're looking at the actual scene in real life. So what we're looking at is how we can use sound to actually improve that space. This particular target over here, they're going to sound considerably louder or quieter than, say, for example, this person, because they're a little bit further. So they should be saying, "Hello, I'm over here." They will be a little bit quieter, but their pitch will be a little bit higher because they're actually trying to yell it to you.
Basically what we're looking at here is the effect of eye gaze on where we pay attention to. So it's been shown an awful lot when we look at real humans that no matter where they look to, that's where we tend to look to. So what we're trying to find here is if virtual humans give the same effect. So if a virtual human is looking at something, are we more likely to look at it? Because it would kind of make sense that they would because they look like humans. But on the other hand, they might not because we might not care what virtual humans are looking at because we don't really care what they're attending to. So that's what we're trying to look at here.
So in my experiment, we're going to try and find out how well people are at recognizing the motions of different animals. So what we did was we went to a farm and we filmed cow, horse, sheep and a pig walking and trotting around the place. We marked their joints with paint and then we managed to extract the motion using software and then we applied that to a sheep 3D model. So the sheep is acting like different animals and the idea is, can you guess what it is? So it could be walking like a cow or a horse. So far people think that a cow trotting is usually a horse because it's still light, but we usually see them just standing around in a field. So this means that we can target the motion of any animal onto a 3D model and people will think it's realistic, which will save time on animating for crowds.
How close do you have to be to recognise someone?
Depends about my glasses.
Oh, well, I think it depends a lot on how well you know the person. So, you know, you can recognise someone from their walk if you know them well, like just standing behind them. So it depends on how well you know the person.
What do you think makes a crowd look real?
I think the way they walk. If you look at a crowd, I think one of the problems with previous simulations of crowds is that everybody walks in a very uniform manner.
Many things, I suppose. Realistic movement, realistic sound, how they interact with each other, where they're going. They're not just walking into walls, they're on a proper path to somewhere, I suppose. A lot of things.
So Metropolis is a project that grew out of a project that's been going on for a number of years in the graphics group here in Trinity, where we've been building virtual Dublin, and we started building the Dublin by having undergraduate students build models of the city.
This is from a master's course in Trinity called IET, which is a graphics master's course. So basically, as one of their projects, or one of their classes, for their final project, they were given the basic Trinity scene, and they were asked to do different effects on it. So some are just basic lighting and shading, and some, for kind of bonus marks, they were asked to do some stylistic shaders. They really came up with some really nice results. As you can see, here's a more psychedelic one.
Basically, the aim of Metropolis is to come up with a full simulation of Dublin. And you can see here we've modelled Trinity College in great detail, but the rest of the city is bare. We only have roads and stuff, and it costs so much money to model the buildings that we're coming up with new ways to do them more efficiently. So my research is in procedural buildings, where I can simply draw a square on the ground and pull a building up. And the computer knows what the building should look like. So the computer will actually fill in the windows and details. If you look, you can go in close, you can see the highly detailed windows in the buildings, and it's created in literally a few seconds.
I think it looks really interesting, and I think it'll get a lot of interest over the next few days.
From our perspective, Metropolis is another success. Another success in the Science Gallery from the lab and the gallery perspective as well. And like I said, you're all very welcome, and I'm very, very pleased to be able to declare it open.